Blog Talk Radio.
There is a mystery lurking the forested areas of the world. Many have seen something, but what is it? Are they seeing known animals? They claim they walk upright, like a human. There are so many eyewitnesses. Can they all be wrong? Is someone just playing a trick on people? Or is it possible a large bipedal being could exist in the forests of the world? You have a decision to make. Do you believe it exists? These are the topics we discuss on Sasquatch Watch Radio. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Today is August 6, 2013. Before we get the show started, I would like to put a shout out to a couple of the Facebook pages that allow us to advertise on their Facebook page, their group pages. So first of all, I'd like to put out a big thanks to Sasquatch Wars. You can check those guys out. So thank you, Sasquatch Wars. And then, of course, the American Bigfoot Society public page also allows us to advertise there. So if you folks get a chance, just go into Facebook and type it into the search. I'm sure it'll pull right up, and check those guys out. Before we get on with the show, first thing I'll do is we'll get our great co-host in here, the Creature Seeker.
Hey, Billy, what's up?
What's going on?
Pretty excited to have our next guest.
I think so. I think I've known Tim for a little while. We've never met in person, but we've texted and shared some messages back and forth on Facebook. And but one of these days, I plan on meeting the guy because from what I've heard, he's a down to earth, nice guy. So everybody, welcome Mr. Tim Stover to the show. How you doing, Tim?
Hey, Tim.
I'm doing well, Billy, and I'll tell you what, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me on the show.
Well, Creature Seeker, I think you said something earlier. What was it you said about Tim actually being happy to be on the show?
I think he's the first guest who's actually happy to be on the show.
I'm hoping I'm going to have a good time here. I got a feeling Bruce is going to give me a hard time tonight.
Tim, I don't know. I've gotten a bad rep for that for some reason. I don't know why. But
well, you know what, Bruce? You like to have fun. That's what it's all about.
I like to have fun. That's true, Tim.
And
nothing wrong
just
with
take it the wrong way. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Just you know, you got to have a little bit of fun because all this seriousness going on around here will drive you insane.
That's right.
It will. Definitely. The seriousness, the drama, you name it, it's out there. You got to steer clear of that stuff.
Mhm.
I just look at it as as an obstacle. I come up to it. I got to clear it and just keep moving forward. So
that's all you can do, Tim. Now,
yep.
One thing I do know about you, Tim, I know that you've actually been researching for quite some time. You just didn't really go public with anything because you've been researching, I believe, for a little over 20 years, right?
Yeah, this October will be 22 years I've been doing it.
Yeah.
And it seems like sometimes it seems like forever. Sometimes it feels like I just started doing it.
Yeah. Well, I tell people all the time, because they watch these TV shows and they get the impression that they're going to go out into the woods, and spend a couple hours and have something happen. And I try to tell folks, I only wish it were that easy. But, there'll be a lot of times where you go in the woods and you just sit and nothing happens.
Oh, I'm well aware of that. I'll tell you what, Billy. Actually, since 1992, it has basically been almost nothing for me. Sure, I've had some moments to where, I thought something could be happening. You're hearing something or anything like that. But and every once in a while, you might get a glimpse of something moving through the woods and not quite sure what it was. But, I mean, it is hard. People, yeah, you're right. People think because they watch all these shows that they're going to go right out and see Bigfoot. I mean,
yeah.
It ain't like that.
No, it's not like that at all. Creature Weekend. Now, Creature Seeker, my understanding is he goes out and he gets a lot of activity at the steakhouse.
I bet he does. Huh? USA Steakhouse? Oh, boy.
But you know what, Tim? I apologize. Billy's got to start in on me right away, first thing. Ever since last week's interview with Fred Saluga, which, attracted a lot of attention. You have to download that sometime when you have a free moment, but I've been getting a lot of hate mail.
Oh, boy. You got to take the heat.
That's right.
Billy's going to dish it. You got to take it.
All right, well, go ahead.
So Tim actually had a sighting, right? Is that right, Tim?
Yeah, I did in 1992. That's what basically started it all off for me.
Can you talk a little bit about what happened that day?
Sure. I'm more than willing to share it. I'll tell you what, I was a big time deer hunter in 1992. I decided to go down to Salt Fork State Park. Do some deer hunting down there. I had my tree stand down there. I used a crossbow. It wasn't during gun season or anything like this, and I believe it was October 6th. I would have to go back to that year to see what actually day it fell on, but it was opening day of bow season in Ohio. So I made my way down there. I probably got there 4:30 a.m. in the morning, 4 o'clock, something like that. It was plenty. It was like 2.5, 3 hours before sunrise. And I went up Route 51 about a half mile, pulled my car off to the side, got out, went in the trunk, got my crossbow. Prior to this going down there on opening day, I was down there a couple weeks before, and I found the tree that I wanted to put my tree stand in. And, on the way there, of course, I put them little thumbtacks. You guys know what I'm talking about. You put them on the trees and you shine a flashlight on it or a real light, glowing light. They'll shine for you so you don't lose your way, right, in the dark. So, I found them and I worked my way to my tree stand and I got up in there and I'm probably about 12 feet up in the air and loaded my crossbow, put the safety on, and it seemed like forever sitting there because I was waiting for the sun to come up. You would hear things, it could have been possums, skunks, stuff like that, and I'll be the first, I'll be honest, I'll tell you what, I don't know who can go in the woods in the dark and even be up in a tree stand and not get spooked or something, because you're hearing things, but you can't see them. So, the sun started to rise up, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I know there's going to be some deer coming through here. And, as the day went on, I stayed up there all day long. I had lunch up there. I took a leak off the side up there. I didn't come down. So, what was aggravating me was I wasn't seeing any deer. I'm like, oh, come on. I've always seen them in this area. There's signs of them everywhere. So, early afternoon come, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, nothing. I got to see wild turkeys, but not one single deer. So it got around, I think, 3:30 in the afternoon. And by that time, you got to remember now, I was up in my tree stand since probably 5 a.m. and it's like 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon, and I was so sore, so tired. And I had like a couple hours left yet of daylight to hunt, but I could not take it anymore. I said, well, I'm not going to see a deer. If I would have, I would have seen one already. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to get down out of here. And so I put my crossbow back up on a hook I had on a tree to hold it there. And I reached down and undid my plastic safety belt. Okay, and when you undo that buckle, it makes a little click noise, of course. Well, as soon as I did that, over to I'd say about my 2 o'clock position, I heard a snip or a stick break or snap or something. I heard something that wasn't natural. Something made this noise. I looked over there briefly, and there was nothing there. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna reach back down, and I'm gonna try to put my safety belt back on because that might be a deer coming through the woods there, and I'm trying to reach for my belt, and it's hanging down the side behind my butt. I can't reach the darn thing, okay? I was getting frustrated. So I looked back up and, to that same position, and there, I'll tell you what, there that thing stood right there. I mean, just out of nowhere. And I will be honest, when I first laid eyes on this, probably at the time it happened, I was guessing 45, 50 yards. But, I guess during the episode I did on Finding Bigfoot, Renee took a rangefinder and said it was about 38 yards. But anyway, when I first laid eyes on this thing, I'll be honest, I thought I was going to die because what I was seeing was real, okay? And I knew right when I seen it, this wasn't no guy in a monkey suit. And what confused me was, if this is supposed to be a Bigfoot, why is it a silverish, like grayish white color? Growing up as a kid, you was always thinking, Bigfoots were brown or black. That's just what I was told when we was growing up as kids every once in a while. But this thing I was looking at was a silverish, grayish color. And it looked like a gigantic, naked, hairy old man. And as I got, many people asked me, they say, did you see if it was a male or female? No. I was so frightened. I was so scared and frozen in time that I just was focusing on its face. And every once in a while, I try to turn my eyes and look up at my crossbow to think if I can reach my crossbow without it seeing me, maybe I have a chance to survive this. But it stood there because I think when I undid my plastic safety belt, this Bigfoot stopped in its tracks. And if I believe to this day, if I wouldn't have undone that plastic safety belt, that Bigfoot would have walked right underneath my tree stand. But he stopped. And at one point, it turned its head to the right and body a little bit, I can't quite remember, and was looking at something to its right and would turn back and look towards me again. What was really probably a 50-second sighting seemed like it was taking forever, guys. I'm not kidding you. There were so many thoughts going through my head. It was like if this thing comes after me, I have one shot with my bolt in my crossbow, and it's going to have to be through the top of its head. Okay. No, of course, people ask, well, did you want to kill it? No. I didn't even know what this thing was. I mean, I guess it was supposed to be a Bigfoot because it sure looked like one. I'm telling you, I'm maybe 7 feet tall, I don't know, 30 inches wide at the shoulders. It's just massive. So all of a sudden, this thing, while I'm looking at it, and it's looking in my direction, I'm not sure at that distance if it was looking at my eyes, looking at me, or looking at the ground level. It seemed like it was just looking at the ground level because I was in full camo. Everything was camo, of course, except for the broadheads, And I don't think this thing saw me. It heard the noise, which was unnatural to him or her. Instead of, hey, this isn't cool, It's just instincts that was kicking in on this Bigfoot. And when this thing turned around, I knew 100%, Billy, that it was real because I can see the muscles flexing in its back underneath its hair. And there's actually an episode that Monster Quest did years ago about a guy that says the same thing, and I'll never forget that episode. That's what I saw. And this thing just walked away and disappeared. And I'll tell you what, it must have been 15 minutes I stood up in that tree stand just shaking. And you know what? I thought I was going to piss myself. Excuse my language. But I was thinking, okay, I have to get down out of this tree stand, and I want to get out of here. I tell you what, I got down, and I walked backwards out of them woods, mostly, the whole time, with my crossbow pointing towards the direction of my tree stand in case that thing came after me. From that day on, when I got back to my car, guys, it hit me so bad, it's like I wanted to call the President of the United States, but I couldn't call nobody. I didn't have a cell phone then, but there was, I couldn't tell anybody, but I wanted to. I wanted to call the whole world, shout out to the world, hey, this thing's real, I saw it, but who's going to believe you?
Right.
And to this day, I'll never forget that. And nobody will ever change my mind about it. I know what I saw, and from that day on, I've been just going out in the woods and looking for the answers.
Now, some people would say that you were lucky to have a sighting like that. Other people would say you were cursed to have a sighting like that.
I know. I've heard that before. And then a lot of people over the years have asked me, hey, did you feel calm and pleasant and, when you was having your sighting like everything was okay? And no, I'll be honest. I was scared to death. I didn't, this thing didn't once take another step towards me. But it was so ugly, it was so big and so real that Billy, it was like a monster to me. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
like watching a monster movie when you was a kid.
Right. Well, you didn't expect to go out into the woods and see this big mammoth-sized human being walking through the woods. I mean, it's a little out of place, especially at that time. I don't know what your feelings was towards the whole thing. I mean, you probably didn't believe. You probably thought people were just making stuff up.
Exactly. I thought it was just like one of them fairy tale, them myth things. As you're growing up as kids, hey, don't go out there, Bigfoot's going to get you or something like that.
Right.
I was curious as a kid, but I never went into it any deeper into the subject or anything like that, until I saw it that day. And the hardest thing was not being able to tell anybody. There was no way I was going to tell my hunting buddies. I had two other hunting buddies that I always went hunting with.
Yeah.
Not always, but a lot of times when there was no way I didn't tell them until after 10 years later. I got to the point where if I tell them and they think I'm a wacko, then so be it. I know what I saw was real, and that's something they ain't never going to take away from me.
Right. Now, Carol Struck has a question. She wanted to know, how high up in the tree were you?
I was about 12 feet up in the tree. I'm guessing 12 feet. I always made sure I was at least that up in the tree stand.
Okay.
And then after you saw it, you're probably 30 feet up in the tree, right?
What's that, Billy?
No, it's the creature seeker. I said after you saw it, you're probably 30 feet up in the tree.
Yeah, exactly. And I had to get back to my vehicle and change my underwear, right? Oh man.
When you saw it, was there no doubt in your mind what you saw? In other words, did you first think, this is a Bigfoot, or did you think, I don't know what that is? Maybe that's a man. Maybe that's Doug Waller. Did you ever think?
Or Billy out there in the suit? No, when I first saw it, I knew instantly. At first, it was like monster Bigfoot. Oh my God, that is a Bigfoot, because I was always told that a Bigfoot looks like a man, except for hairy and a lot bigger. So I knew what I was looking at. There was no doubt.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows, I don't know if most of the folks have called in to listen to the show, if they actually called in to talk to Tim or ask him a question. Just so everyone knows, when you call into the show, if you actually want to come on to the show and ask a question, you have to push 1 on your phone. Just so everyone knows that. But because if I don't see a little hand raised, then I don't know the answer to the call. So. But I'm going to go ahead and answer one call that's got their hand up. And he's actually been a stranger here for a while, actually, Creature Seeker. I don't know where this guy's been, but he's here all of a sudden.
Well, we appreciate it, Billy.
So how are you doing tonight, Henry May?
I'm doing very well, my friend. How are you, Mr. Billy?
I'm doing pretty good. You've been a stranger.
Good.
We hadn't seen you in a while.
I know. Well, and I'll explain why. There were certain individuals who I've talked to who kind of poisoned my mind against against you, and against Bruce, and against others. And I'm not going to mention any names, but this individual, they live in the Buckeye State, and they like their alcohol.
Oh, geez. Sounds like Bruce.
But anyway, but I kind of said, the heck with it. I'm not going to listen to that nonsense because I've known you guys longer than that, and I know you're good guys, and I decided, the heck with it. I've known y'all longer than I've known this certain individual, so.
Well, I tell you what, Henry. I remember back in the day, and this was probably back in like 2005, 2006. We would all hang out in the Yahoo chats and just go on for hours.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I miss those days.
And one thing's for sure, it's very unfortunate, and I know Tim has been through this as well. It is unfortunate that you have people out there that want to do nothing more than either, one, start drama, or two, they just want to say bad things about other people. But you know what the key thing to that is, and I guarantee Tim's going to agree with me on this. Usually when they do that, it's because you're usually doing something right,
mm-hmm.
and they don't like it, and it's a jealousy factor.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying, I swear to God, guys, I'm not trying to toot a horn or anything like that. I'm just saying that you see more and more of this, in these blogs and everywhere else out there. It's unbelievable. And, what's the one thing, and Creature Seeker and I both have talked about this, these conferences, these camp outs, these expeditions, sure, we're going to, talk about Bigfoot or look for Bigfoot or whatever. But, I mean, the key thing is being around people that you enjoy being with and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Yeah, and I want to tell Bruce, I stand behind you, Bruce, and, this nonsense from this blog where anonymous people post, that blog is nothing but all they ever do is trash people anyway.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah, Henry, I really appreciate your support. I really do. And you know what? Good for you, Henry, to say, hey, you know what? I'm my own person. I'm my own thinking individual. I'm gonna make up my own mind about people rather than listen to what other people write. Good for you.
Yep. And go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Billy. It's good to hear your voice again, bud. It's been a while. But if you don't mind, I'd like to add something here. 3 years ago, actually 6 years ago, I started on the YouTube scene of uploading videos. Okay, and then it wasn't too many years after that I fell flat on my face because I was so wanting attention. Okay, and I was trying to keep up with the demands of my viewers and from the comment section saying, Tim, more videos. So I do more videos, and I started doing presentations at Ohio State parks. I got my car with Bigfoot graphics all over it. I was thriving the attention, and during all this, guys, I lost friends that were like family to me. And I will admit here on the air, and I've done it before, I fell flat on my face, and I had to recover. It took me 2 years to recover from that. And I got to think, I sat down once and said, wait, what am I doing? It's no longer fun anymore. I want to have fun again and get back to friends I once had and stay away from the drama. That's what I wanted, and it's taken me over 2 years to get back to friends I once had that treated me like family, because I fell into the trap of wanting attention and thought I was Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah.
That was the suckiest part of my research career, was going through that.
I think all of us probably go through a phase where, you know, we get excited because we feel like we've been accepted into the field of research. I know, and I'll be up front with you guys. When I first talked to William Dranginis, when he was here in Manassas, I was so excited when that guy invited me to come to his house and show me all his equipment and the things he had done and photos and footprint casts. I was like a kid at a carnival. I'll be straight up honest with you. And you know, me and Bill still stay in communication. I love the guy to get to death. And you know, but back then it was more like I was excited because I wanted to do everything I could. And then, you know, as time goes on, you start to learn, well, wow, I've done been out in the woods for 100 and some hours and I ain't seen nothing. Yeah. You know, what's all the excitement in this? No,
well,
I know
anyway,
that. I mean,
anyway, I wanted to ask Tim, what kind of equipment do you use in the woods? Like, what brand of equipment as far as your thermal imagers and your also your audio equipment and things of that nature?
Well, I'll tell you what, Henry, I use a Zoom H2. Okay, I've got my Sony HDR XR 500. I use my Fluke thermal imager, but to be honest with you, I don't take none of that stuff anymore.
Huh.
I'm serious. I take my cell phone. My cell phone doesn't have night vision on it, but if I'm out there during the day and I see something, I can zoom right in on it and get just as good as video as my $800 camera. And it got to the point where it wasn't doing me any good, the thermal imager, because I would see things off in the distance, and it wasn't proving it was a Bigfoot, you know, and it didn't, you know, you can sort of look like it was bipedal or whatever. You'd have to try to get closer to it and stuff like that. And then I got a feeling that every time I was using it, it was lighting up my face at night, which they can see. So I started, you know, in the last year going out there with my phone in my pocket and carrying nothing else, hoping to get that encounter again, to get that sighting again, you know, which I want to have one day, hopefully, before I die, and get a chance to. I'm not sure if I have another up-close sighting like that. I want to be able to look at it differently. You know, you get to thinking after almost 22 years, what did you miss the first time? You know how many people ask me if I saw if it was a male or female? I never looked down at the genitals area. I never looked at the chest to see if it was. It could have had titties, boobs, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I could. Henry, I could not take my eyes off his eyes, her eyes, or whoever it was. But I do have equipment, but it's just sitting around in the bag, not doing anything.
Yeah.
But when I go out with friends, I'm sure I take the equipment because I enjoy watching them use my equipment. You know, that's something a lot of my friends don't have, so I go ahead and let them use it. You know, I don't care whether or not I use it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it was very cool. I got to use a FLIR for the very first time just this year. It was Abe Del Rio's, and oh my gosh, he described it correctly. He described me correctly. I was like a kid in the candy store. That thing was cool.
Oh, they are. Don't get me wrong. They're really cool. I mean, they're awesome. But you know what? I take that back. During the winter, when I don't want to get my lazy butt out of the warm car, I'll drive the back roads. You know, guys, because listen to this. People, you know how many times people have sent me messages, hey, Tim, get off your lazy butt and get out there inside the woods. Look at your sighting database, guys. Look at the percentage of sightings that are from people in motor vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And why not take advantage of that during the winter when all the vegetation is dead? and you can practically see a half a mile into the woods at night. Drive real slow down the back roads and run your thermal. That's when that thermal comes in, really handy.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
you know what, Tim? I feel sorry for sending those messages to you now.
Oh, you know what? I'll just block you. That'll be good enough.
And by the way, Bruce,
then I'll unfriend you. Then I'll friend you again and unblock you, just so I can see what you're posting about me.
By the way, Bruce, I stand behind you, but I'm not going to stand in front of you, especially at a steak buffet.
Henry, don't cut in line. Just let him get his food first.
That's right, exactly.
All right.
I also want to ask Tim, what's the biggest footprint you've ever found, and were there any special features to it? Let's say dermal ridges or broken toes or maybe a broken bone or something like that.
Henry, the best one I ever found, the biggest one, was 17 inches long by, I think it was, matter of fact, it's in my house. I'm out in my man cave right now, but I think it's 7 inches wide by 17 inches long. There was a trackway of 7 of them. Now, I wasn't the one that found them. I brought in actually one of my employees to an area where, you guys remember that video where I found that deer with its legs straight up in the air and it looked like its neck was broken around that tree?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't. It was a while back, but the next day I brought my employee. He said, "I'll go out in the woods with you. I want something to do." I said, "Well, let's go out here and look around the area for any kind of evidence that a Squatch might have did this." And he had his girlfriend with him, and after about, I'd say 15 minutes, I could hear him yelling. He was about 75 yards away. "Timmy, get over here, get over here." And I said, "Okay, don't move, don't move." So they just stood still, and I went over there, and they said, "Look." We looked down, and there was a trackway of 7, maybe 8 of them going down a hill and through a creek and up the next side. But it wasn't like in clay or anything, guys. It was on all dead leaves and branches, so you can't get any detail out of that. But we definitely got the impressions, and that we took a cast of that, and his girlfriend took a cast. No, she didn't take it. I took the only cast. And this was, it was, gosh, when was it? There was no snow on the ground or anything like this. But it was cold, so whatever made this trackway was really heavy. And that was the biggest set I have ever found. And I didn't find them, actually. My employee did.
Wow.
Very interesting.
So
that is very cool. Well, anyway, guys, that's pretty much all my rambling for tonight. Again, I mean, the only bit of advice I have for Bruce is from Chris Christopherson himself. Don't let the bastards grind you down.
I appreciate that, Henry. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to be in front of you, Henry, when you hear a Bigfoot noise and want to try to get out of the bedroom, because I know how you like to run into doors.
You two, you guys should settle it out inside a USA Steakhouse. How's that?
Great talking to you guys. And,
Henry.
Y'all be careful.
Good night, Henry.
Keep your power dry.
All righty.
All right.
Later,
all right, Henry. You know, Billy, that door in the cabin still has the imprint of Henry's whole body when he was trying to run through it.
Oh man, I wouldn't doubt it. You're probably right. Well, we've got a couple callers that's been patiently holding here, so let me get to this first one here. Caller from the 651 area code. You're on the air.
Just wanted to say congratulations to Tim on his newborn son. I know it's a big feat and a big deal for a guy his age.
Oh, well, thank you, Abe. I appreciate that. That was another obstacle for me when 2.5 years ago I got divorced. I was married for 20 years. It just wasn't working out anymore. So 2.5 years ago I got divorced, And it wasn't too much longer that I got with this girl that was half my age. And I'll tell you what, I took a lot of heat from that. And the way I think about it is, and I've always kept this in my mind, and this is what I tell people. I said, it's not, we think this age is just a number. If two people can make it work and love one another, then let it ride.
More power to you, brother. More power to you.
Thanks, man.
And
go ahead. First marriage, my son Josh is 20 years old, and Kellen, my new son, tomorrow he turns 8 weeks old. So there's a big difference there, but I wouldn't trade either one of them for the world.
Oh, I hear you there. No, man, I just want to say keep on doing what you're doing. You're a straight-up, stand-up guy. I've had your back since day one, and you got my support totally. And if you ever need an ear to talk to, you know how to get a hold of me, bro.
I do. Thanks, Abe. I really appreciate that. I really do.
Good deal, man. Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to call in. Just say hi, how's everybody doing, show Tim my support, and that's about it, man. So my words are done, and you guys have a great night, and Squatch on. God bless.
All right. Thanks, Abe.
Thanks, Abe.
Yep. Thanks, Abe.
Take care.
Tim, Abe's got your back so that when you turn around to run, he's in front.
Yeah, actually, well, what I try to do when I'm out researching with Abe, if we see a Squatch and we got to run, I'm tripping them. And I'm moving ahead, buddy. I already got a plan.
Another thing, Tim, just like you said, age is just a number, but so is alimony.
Yeah. There you go. Thanks for reminding me. Matter of fact, I got a payment due next week. Oh, my God. You guys are wrong, man, but you know what? I'm having fun. This is great.
All right. Let's get to this one more caller here. Caller from the 724 area code. You're on the air.
How you doing, Bruce and Billy?
Hey,
Brian.
How you doing, Tim? This is Brian.
Brian, hey, Brian, how are you? It's good to hear from you.
Good, man. Hey, congratulations also on your newborn son.
Thank you very much.
You got a lot of fun ahead of you, buddy.
Yeah, I do. You know what's weird though, Brian? When you're young and you have kids, sure you enjoy it and cherish it, or as much as you can. But when you're older, when you're my age, and my new son, it's like I'm cherishing it even more. Trying to do them things and pay attention to them things that you missed back in your younger years. And you know what I mean? It's like, wow, I should have paid attention to this more during, years ago. So it's really neat. It's been a blessing for me.
Yeah, I agree. My two they're pretty well grown up now, so it would be something if I had a young one now. I don't know if I can handle it, to be honest with you. But hey, the one thing I wanted to tell everybody, and how you mentioned it too, and when I saw you down at Doug Waller's and we gave that presentation, we both gave presentations, your car. tell everybody a little bit more about your car, because we just thought it was awesome. I still talk to everybody about that car.
Well, all right. Well, there's some good news and there's some bad news about my car.
Okay.
All right? My car is a 2010 smart car. It's yellow and black, and a lot of people call me the Bumblebee. And the funny thing is, when I drive it around town and get out, everybody is expecting this young college girl to get out of this thing, and they see this rugged old guy getting out of the car. They go, "Whoa, you fit in that thing?" Well, yes, I do. And then the very next question they always ask me is, do you drive that thing on the highway? Finally, I started being nice and telling them, do you ask motorcyclists the same question? And they're like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. They're just in much danger as I am in this little thing on the highway. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that. But, I had special graphics put all on it, the Ohio Bigfoot Hunter graphics all on the side, the website address, all kinds of lettering. It was a big hit at Doug's event. And that was the last part of my, what I can call is falling flat on my face. In other words, Brian, it was drawing too much attention.
Mm-hmm.
It really was when I would drive at places. And then I decided to go to Tonner's Woods in Kent, Ohio. A lot of people know it because it has a history of being haunted. Well, I come back out of Tanner's Woods, and here on both sides of the graphics is these nail marks with the vinyl ripped and peeled down. And I can see handprints on the windows. No, it wasn't from a Bigfoot. It was from somebody's little kids. They was trying to lift themselves up into the car to look inside the tinted windows, and they ruined my graphics. So at that point, I was so frustrated. It was drawing too much attention. I took all the graphics off.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry I know it was a big hit with a lot of the kids and stuff like that, but it was just too much of an attention getter. I didn't want that anymore.
Yeah, but it was pretty neat though. I mean, we really enjoyed it last year. Hey, one other quick question. I'll let everybody else get on. Is have you got anything from Beaver Creek lately? Beaver Creek, Ohio.
I haven't been down there in years.
Okay.
It's been a few years since I've been down there. Most of my research is in the Portage County area. It's in the Carrollton County area on private land. And then just over the past weekend, I did a camp out over the weekend with a friend of mine, Dave Nowakowski, down in Salt Fork. We had a blast.
Oh, okay.
We didn't have anything really happening, but I'll tell you what, being out with a friend like that and laughing and having a good time, that I really needed that.
That's what it's about. We'd love to get up there sometime and do some investigations around that arsenal like we talked about, the Ravenna Arsenal.
Exactly. We'll get together soon, Brian.
Okay. Hey, I'll let you go, but hey, just word to you, Bruce. You know, great job, and don't let any of those idiots get to you, because people like that aren't worth it, buddy. You're a good friend of a lot of people, so.
Thanks, Brian. I really appreciate that.
Okay. Hey, I'm gonna go. There's dogs running down the street here, so I don't want to get attacked.
All right,
so you guys have a nice night.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Bye, Brian.
All right, bye.
All right, and then we'll get this. Go ahead.
You can't blame people for asking you if you take your car on the highway, because unlike motorcycles, you have to wind up a smart car before you take it on the highway, right?
Exactly. And you know what? There are photos on the internet of people actually. There's a company that sells these big wind-up knobs that you can put on the back of them things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you know what? I can't complain. I love it. I go to all my research places in it. It gets 52 miles a gallon, and I don't have any problems though. I can do a lot of research throughout Ohio on very little gas.
That's right. That's cool, man. One more caller from the 740 area code. You're on the air.
Billy?
Yes.
Hi, this is Doug again.
Hey, Doug. Yeah, Doug. I saw you put your little hand up there, so I figured you had something to say.
Well, I wanted to ask Tim if he and Blue Tracker found anything when they were at Salt Fork, and then I heard him mention when Brian was on that you didn't really find anything. And
well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and Blue was telling me, your little car gets 50 miles to the gallon, but you can't haul all your gear down. He had to take your tent down or something for you.
Yes, he did. Darn it, he narked on me. Yeah, I got most of my gear in it, except for the screened-in house tent.
Oh,
and I just couldn't find a way to fit it in that little car, so I had to have him stop at my house and pick it up. But
well,
other than that...
I tell you what, Tim, you would be in a lot of trouble if you had to haul Bruce's tent, because it's got an elevator shaft in it.
Billy, come on.
It's probably got steel poles and made of canvas too, isn't it?
Tim, I get a lot of people cracking on me because they call my tent the Taj Mahal. But really, it's a very small tent. It barely sleeps 12.
12? Oh, my God.
Jeez. Well, Tim? Hey, Tim.
I bet I can fit my car in that tent.
Yep, good.
You probably could.
You know what? We have to go camping together. That way I can park it in there. I don't want it to get rained on. You can sleep with it. I'll let you sleep with the bumblebee, okay?
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of tents, you came down to one of the Sasquatch campouts last year, and we'd like to have you come down again, but I was wondering, is OBH going to have any this year? Because we'd like to come up and check out your neck of the woods.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it hopefully for late, it will probably be late September into October. Okay, the area that I want to reserve, I have to work around the schedule of the Horsemen's Association. Okay, so I got to figure out their schedule first, but we'll let everybody know when we're going to get together somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? So,
well, I did break down and buy a tent. I was getting so much heat from Bruce about sleeping in my car. The car got totaled, so I had to buy a tent, and I've only used it once. But,
oh, jeez.
So I just wanted to know, I guess nothing happened at Salt Fork, and
No, nothing happened other than me and Dave sneaking into Morgan's Knob during the night when we wasn't supposed to and getting scared. Other than that, we did have something raid. We had the gazebo screened in tent there. We had the picnic table inside.
Mm-hmm.
We had some brownies in containers, with them hefty or Ziploc containers.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, 1:30 in the morning, I can hear Dave going, Tim, wake up. And he was doing it for, I guess, 5 minutes, and he was even trying to call my cell phone. I was out. I was so exhausted that night. But I finally woke up, and I said, Dave, what? He goes, there's something out there. There's something out there. I said, okay, why don't you unzip your tent, point your flashlight out there, and check it out. He goes, no, you first. I said, okay, Dave, I'm getting out of my sleeping bag now. And then there was a long pause, and he goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting ready to get out of the tent. He goes, well, did you unzip your door yet? And then I'll unzip mine. He was just scared. It was so funny, but whatever this was did make a lot. But anyway, we ended up going out there, and we found that the containers were opened, and the brownies were on the ground, smashed, like just smashed down in the ground, almost like something would have stepped on them. Mm-hmm. But most likely it was a raccoon. I just don't know why it would smash them in the ground like that. So I told Dave, I said, let's go back to sleep. Whatever it was, we'll come back for the rest of the brownies, and it did. And no, we did not have a trail cam placed on the on the gazebo area. We didn't have one, but it would have been great just to get video of something getting into our brownies. His wife was kind enough. It was my birthday on July 31st, so she said, when you're going on a camping trip with Dave, I'm going to make you a treat. And she makes these awesome, like a mint-flavored brownies. And she knows I love them. She made a big container of them. And she's really nice. And Dave's a really good friend. So.
Hey, Tim, I got news for you. That wasn't mint in those brownies.
What was it? Oh, never mind. Now, I ain't even going to ask you. You probably had something to do with it.
What was all over the floor of his tent?
No wonder I was going to the bathroom all the next morning. What'd you put in there?
I saw the video of the interior of Blue's tent, and it looked like he emptied a diaper or something on the floor inside.
Yeah, well, I got part two coming up. I got part two coming up of the weekend that we did there. I'll tell you what, there was nothing more great than spending time with a friend like that, guys.
Yeah.
And laughing. We had so much fun, and that's what it's all about. It's not about the drama and the BS. It's about friendship and having fun.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I'm going to say goodnight and let somebody else get on, and congratulations on the new baby. And
thank you, Doug.
Hope we can get together. You come to a meeting or a camp out, or I'll come up to one of your events or something, and keep in touch.
We will. Thanks a lot, Doug.
Good
I
night
appreciate
to Billy, and good night to Bruce, too.
Good night, Doug.
Good night, Doug.
Good night.
Thanks for staying up past your bedtime.
Yeah, he took a nap. He took a nap before. So. We call it the Doug Waller naps. So. Yeah, he's a good guy. I like Doug. I've known him for a couple of years now, and I've always appreciated his friendship. Great guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. Yeah, do you have his book, Tim?
No, I didn't. I know he's got a book. What's the book called? I'm going to feel like a butt here, Trent, but I know he wrote a book, but is it out yet?
Oh yeah. He was he had a table and he was selling his book at Creature Weekend, so it's definitely out.
I couldn't make it down there, but yeah, I want to get his book definitely. I do. I will buy Dougie Pooh's. Oh, oops, sorry. I let you guys know what his nickname is, but I will buy his book. Sorry, Doug. He's like a big. You go out researching with him. He's just like this big, gigantic Pooh Bear. When you get tired and you're out in the woods, you just want to snuggle up with him, and go to sleep.
Oh
boy,
cool. Boy, we got some material to work with now, Bruce.
Oh my God. Well, thanks,
man.
because now you've given my therapist a lot of stuff to work on now. I won't be able to get that image out of my head.
Oh no! Don't get that image in your head. Oh my.
Well, one thing's for sure, Tim. I'm looking forward one of these days to coming out there with you guys and kind of spend some time out in the woods with you. So.
Oh, definitely. I can't wait.
Yeah, it would be good to finally meet you now that you and Billy have had your little bromance. With it.
Bromance? Yeah, that's what Billy always texts me. Oh, okay, thanks, bro. It's never thanks, Tim. It's thanks, bro. Okay, bro, you have a good day, bro. You too, bro. I think we've been listening to Abe's show too much. Abe started that with me years ago. I don't even think Abe knows my first name. It's always bro. I got your back, bro. I got your back, bro. Yeah, Abe's a good guy. He's always been nice to me. He's always respected me. So, I've been on his show a couple times. He's been on my show that I used to have a couple times. Abe is the guy that stays out of the BS and drama. He just goes out and does his thing, and I applaud him for that. He has fun.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes you get pulled into it when you don't want to be.
Right.
And,
exactly. I understand. There will be times like that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be times. There's certain things that, if it's anybody else being talked about, that's fine. But when it's somebody that's a close friend of mine, that's being wrongfully, called names or whatever, I have to do something. So.
Right. That's funny. We brought that subject up earlier. Inside Ohio Bigfoot Hunters Group. First of all, you don't mind me plugging my own group, do you, Billy?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. We have over 800 members. Well, go ahead. What do you got to say now?
I was just saying I advertise on there too, so go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm on Ohio Bigfoot Hunters Group on Facebook. There is a lot of great people in there, and what I wanted to say is you'll know that every once in a while something will be posted, and you never hear from certain members, but if it has to do with drama, they're right on it, and then they're back out of it again. Then sure, you have problems. There's posts you got to remove because somebody's angry or mad at somebody, and we try to keep it clean and family oriented. There's no bashing allowed and stuff like that, but most of the members in there are just fantastic, and there's a lot of great information being shared in that group, and I'm glad you're a part of it, Billy.
Well, I do have to say, Tim, your group, your Bigfoot group, actually has one of the largest amount of members that I think I've seen in any of the groups, and I think that speaks volumes that people feel comfortable being in there.
Yeah, so, I'm hoping that's what it is because lately in the last couple of months we're getting 5 to 10 members a day, and them members, I'd say 50-60% of them are coming right in and commenting and saying this is great. Can I tell my stories and stuff? And that's what I always wanted. I basically shut down everything else, but I wanted a place where people can come and share information and respect one another. And, It's just been great, fantastic.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt that you have free beer and pizza at your meetings either, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. We do every Friday night. We have free beer and what have it. And we got movies on Saturday night. But
oh wow. Well,
it's been fun.
One
though.
thing's
It's been
for
real
sure:
fun.
if you got any movies or anything you want to watch when you're out on an expedition, make sure you bring your DVDs, because Bruce can accommodate you with his DVD player, television, and his tent.
Oh, yeah. Is he okay, Bruce? Are you one of them guys that goes out to a campground, and sets up his camper, his tent, and stuff like that, and then 15 minutes later, you look over there and you see this big satellite stuck in the ground? I mean, there's people that do that. They bring their DirecTV satellites to the campgrounds. I'm like, wow, are you kidding me?
No, that's a great idea, though.
Oh, God. Oh, Lord.
You done gave him an idea, Tim. Thanks.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Bill. Yeah, that's what friends are for, buddy.
Well, we had a lot of fun tonight. We're already down to our last 3 minutes or so.
Wow!
Anything you want to talk about here in the next 3 minutes, Tim? I mean, anything that you really wanted to kind of say?
Billy, we have a question in the chat room.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Ramble X1 asked, "What is the best story of a Sasquatch encounter you heard?"
The best story of a Squatch encounter I heard.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it was the best. I think it was the most scariest, and most people don't know about it. I heard there was not rumors going around, but there was information going around. No, I better not say that one. That's not cool. Let me think of something else here. I'm being serious here. The best one I probably heard was personally to me from two fishermen, out at West Branch State Park that parked their car alongside of Route 5, was walking through the woods in the dark to get to their fishing spot. I believe it was the J Lake Cove area. They got to their fishing spot, started fishing. All of a sudden, something started throwing stuff from behind them into the water. They guaranteed it wasn't a beaver. There wasn't no beavers in this area. And then they can hear sticks breaking behind them and stuff like that. And actually, the two guys, one was the father and one was the son. The father was he's in his late 50s, and the son was in his early 20s. So they said, let's get out of here. Somebody's messing with us, or something's messing with us. So they got their lantern going. They're going back through this trail. It's during the middle of the summer, and then the father was first and the son was behind him. Then all of a sudden, the lantern goes out because they ran out of fuel. So they keep walking another 50, 75 yards, and next thing you know, the son says that something grabbed him on the back of the shoulder. And he screamed, and his dad turned around and seen a silhouette. He screamed, and they just got the hell out of there. And they personally got this about 3 years ago. They got a hold of me to tell me this. They made it a point to get a hold of me and tell their story. They don't believe in Bigfoot, but they just wanted to tell me what happened. They didn't know what it was.
That is a good
one. I would say that was the best one I've ever heard, personally.
Yeah, that is a good one. Very good.
But that's about it. Last thing I'd like to say is everybody, try to stay out of the drama, have fun, and enjoy the relationships you do have with your friends. Life is too short. Don't make the mistake that I did.
Yeah, and I think we should all follow Abe's lead to stay out of the drama by just harvesting wild mushrooms.
Oh, my God. Oh, you're crazy, man. I like you guys. You guys got a great, funny show, man. That's the way it should be.
Well, Tim, thanks so much. Thanks so
Yep.
much for coming on, Tim. We greatly appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Bruce, Billy, you guys have a great night, and thank you once again for your kindness and your hospitality.
Tim,
All
thanks
right.
for
Good
being
night.
on the show. Good
Good
night.
night, guys.
Good night, Tim. I'll tell you what, now, that was a fun show tonight, Bruce.
That was a fun show, Billy.
I had
We
a
gotta
lot
have
of
him
fun.
on again.
I know, that was a lot of fun. I want to go out in the woods, and have an expedition with him. I'm sure he's just as funny there as he is on the show.
I'm sure he's a riot.
I don't know, you two,
you know, Billy,
but I don't know, between the two of you, I mean, it might just be nuts.
I want to see the bumblebee, Billy.
I think he's got pictures of it on the internet, I think.
Does he really?
I think so. I think it's, of course, I know you don't have Facebook, but I'm pretty sure he's got it on somewhere on his Ohio Hunters page, because I saw the graphic. There was a real nice graphic on it. I mean, because you can wrap these things and they look fantastic. But, it's a shame somebody come along and, tore it all up. It's, people just ain't got nothing better to do, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we all had a fun show tonight. You got anything you want to add before we close out the show?
Only that we, I don't know if we ever announced it, but last year we had a little fundraiser for the Guernsey County chapter of Dollars for Scholars, and we actually donated $1,056 to the Dollars for Scholars chapter in Guernsey County. So I just want to say thanks to all the people who donated, all the people who attended, Creature Weekend, and, through your auction items, you donated toward that cause. And I'm sure that, the kids appreciate that as well. So, thanks again to everyone.
That's great. That's great news. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Helping others and having a good time.
Yep.
All right.
So,
well, if we don't have anything else, I will be talking to you soon, Creature, because I might need your assistance lining up someone for the show next Tuesday, since I'm going to be gone. So, might need your help with that.
I'm sure we'll be able to get someone to come on the show. Someone who hasn't listened to the show, Billy.
I'm sure you can twist somebody's arm. Anyway, all right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in tonight. We couldn't do the show without you. I mean, because without listeners, I guess me and Bruce would be talking to each other. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Sasquatch Watch Radio. Remember to join us again next Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. We appreciate every one of our listeners. Thank you so much for being here.